what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Mid-Level Media channel, or maybe you're here for the first time. Welcome to the Mid-Level Media channel. This is your hub for everything physical media and entertainment, and I wanted to introduce a new segment, a new series to the channel today. Today, we're going to be talking about the 5 best and the 5 worst Scream Factory releases. Now, I may do this for different studios and boutique labels. It just depends on how this video does and how you all enjoy it. So definitely leave me your feedback in the comment section below. So yeah, I want to talk about the 5 best and the 5 worst of Scream Factory here today. Now, I'm not saying, because I may do a part 2. I may do a part 2 of Scream Factory. I certainly want to dive into Arrow Video, and I want to dive into other specific boutique labels and also studios as well, Warner Brothers, Paramount. I'm not saying that these are the 5 best, definitively. Like, these are my top 5. What I'm trying to say is these are 5 that are really good, and you need to have them in your Scream Factory collection. Same with the worst. I'm not saying that these are definitively the worst Scream Factory titles, even though one, I would argue, is definitively the worst. We'll get to it. But what I'm saying is I don't think these are necessary to have in your collection. They were disappointing releases. They disappointed me when I watched them because, look, guys, I thought this would be fun because I'm at a certain point with the channel and my collecting. I've been doing this for a long time. I've been reviewing a lot of these releases for a long time. So I like to go back and just kind of look at these releases through a retrospective lens and just kind of give my thoughts and insights on how I perceived them when they first came out. So a lot of these I haven't like rewatched recently, even though some of these I think I've reviewed within the last year or so. But I thought this would be a fun way to just kind of reminisce on some of the titles in the collection, just kind of give you all some pointers on what to get from these studios and labels and what not to get. Let's start with the 5 best. We'll start off on a positive note. We'll start with the 5 best. And the first one that I got for one of the best Scream Factory releases that I've ever seen them do. And this is in the 4K era. And we got a few from the 4K era. And I'm basing this on a variety of criteria, guys. The movie itself, the picture quality, the special features, obviously, packaging, all that kind of stuff, slipcover artwork, all that. But Night of the Demons, I think, is one of the best releases on 4K. I think is one of the best releases that Scream Factory has ever done for one reason. Well, actually a couple of reasons. One reason is that this transfer is spectacular. This looks absolutely immaculate on 4K. It's one of the best 4Ks that they've ever done. I thought it looked so spectacular. Another reason that you don't get this a lot in the 4K era of Scream Factory, you don't get brand new special features when they've already done the movie on Blu-ray. You don't get brand new special features. Usually they just port over the existing special features from the previous Blu-ray they did. And in this case, I think 10 years before, 2014, I think, is when the Night of the Demons Blu-ray came out. So you got new special features on this release that came out in 2023. You got a new See You in Hell interview with writer-producer Joe Augustine. I'm not going to go through everything, guys, but you got multiple new interviews with this, in addition to all the interviews and features that they did before. So this thing is jam-packed, fully loaded with brand new special features. I wish Scream Factory, I don't know why they chose this movie to do that with. I wish they would do that with all their 4K releases, at least add a couple of new features to entice those that have already bought the Blu-ray to buy the 4K, because not everybody's like into upgrading picture quality. They'll see the Blu-ray and they're like, that's good enough. I don't need to spend $32 to upgrade to 4K. So I think if Scream Factory would just add a couple of new special features, a new audio commentary, something in there to sweeten the pot, I think it would entice people to buy their releases more often and kind of move their stock up a little bit. Because let's face it, in the physical media world right now, a lot of these other labels are passing them by. Arrow Video, Vinegar Syndrome, Second Sight, like everybody's leaving Scream Factory in the dust here. And this was an example of a release in the 4K era that they actually did justice to, and they did it right. So I have to, give it to Scream Factory on that one, adding in new features, and I think that was just fantastic. And I think there's also a making of a documentary on here as well that was also in the 2014 Blu-ray that came out, but it's also included here. So this is really like anything that you would want, everything that you would want for Night of the Demons is included in this 4K release. So I think this is one of the best releases that Scream Factory has ever done for sure. We've also got, this one's kind of sentimental to me, but I really think this is a great release. It's a Blu-ray release. We're not just going to be talking about 4K, guys, but Silent Night, Deadly Night, which I would take a 4K of for sure. Silent Night, Deadly Night was an excellent Scream Factory release. Like, there is so much in terms of special features here. You had 2 cuts of the film. You had the theatrical cut, and you also had the unrated cut, which is 6 minutes longer. Now, the unrated cut scenes that they spliced in, they could not restore, so it kind of is a little jarring how it goes from, you know, a 1080p Blu-ray quality to like VHS quality. So I don't know why they couldn't fully restore those. They just couldn't do it. So I don't know if a 4K of that, they could improve that. They could, you know, do the actual restoration on those unrated scenes or not. But hopefully that would be cool if they did a 4K release if they could actually get that done. But this is a spectacular release. The Blu-ray scenes that are in this, the actual like Blu-ray quality of this when it's not going back and forth to VHS. And that's only if you watch the unrated. If you watch the theatrical, like it's consistent picture quality wise all throughout. But really nice upgrade here. And I watched this movie on VHS when I was a kid. Scared the crap out of me. The movie doesn't have quite the same effect now, but I still think it's a really like good, fun Christmas slasher film, and it's definitely iconic. Has some great like iconic poster artwork, and I think the artwork on this Scream Factory edition is some of the best that they've ever done. I absolutely love the artwork on this, and this was also the very first Scream Factory title I ever purchased. I found this at a Walmart back in 2017. That's when I got into collecting Scream Factory, and this was $10. This was $10 in the Walmart with the slipcover. That was back when Walmart, like, you could just find cool stuff in stores all the time back in the day, and I miss that era so much. But Silent Night, Deadly Night, in my opinion, is one of their very best. Like, you have a documentary making of Silent Night, Deadly Night. This is back when Scream Factory actually cared about special features and did new documentaries. So you have the making of, you have a bunch of new interviews and new audio commentaries, and this thing is just jam-packed, and it's great. I think Silent Night, Deadly Night is one of the best releases that Scream Factory has ever done, and I hope they do that one in 4K. It would be really cool if they did it this year on 4K. Let's talk about Night of the Comet. Now, this one, they didn't add anything new in terms of bonus features, but picture quality-wise, guys, I really, truly think, it's on the screen back there, that's the Blu-ray. I really, truly think this may be the best, picture quality-wise, that Scream Factory has ever done. It is such a great 4K. It may be like top 5 for the format. Like, I was so blown away by the picture quality of this. There's so many incredible colors, like the skyline, the city, just the outfits the girls are wearing. It's just so incredible. All the colors look so great with the HDR and the Dolby Vision. And if you haven't seen Night of the Comet on 4K, you have to check this out. Like, if you got that full setup, if you got that OLED TV, like, you're going to be blown away. You are going to be blown away. This is one that you can use to like show your friends and stuff, like how good a 4K upgrade could be. Show them Night of the Comet on 4K. Absolutely spectacular. But there are great features here that were included in the Blu-ray that they ported over for this release. So that was definitely cool. I feel like there might have been a new audio commentary, but I can't say for sure. Sometimes Scream Factory is really bad about putting everything on the back here. They don't always put all the special features and stuff they actually have in there. But I thought this was such a great upgrade. Like, even if it doesn't have new features, I had to put this in one of the best Scream Factory releases that they've ever done. So that's the third one. Now, getting into the fourth one, pretty much the same deal as Night of the Comet. I think The Burning is one of their best 4Ks they've ever done as well. Such a massive upgrade from that Blu-ray that they did. It was so incredible, like night and day. And I think camp slashers, just camp movies in general, look fantastic on 4K. So just for the picture quality alone here, and I love The Burning. Like, it's such a great slasher film. I still think it's kind of underrated, even though everybody in the horror community, physical media community, knows about The Burning, but I still think there's a lot of people out there that just watch Friday the 13th, the standard slasher films, don't know about The Burning. I certainly didn't know about The Burning until about 2017, 2018. That's when I first watched it. And I really got into it. I love it. First off, it takes place like mostly in the daytime, so that kind of differentiates it from Friday the 13th, I think. Most of the kills take place in the daytime. And this movie in 4K, guys, is just spectacular because you have all those trees and the greenery, the grass, and just that outdoor setting looks so great. Lends itself so well to an actual 4K restoration. So fantastic release by Scream Factory. I don't think you get much better than the picture quality of The Burning. So that's in my 5 best as well. And let's this is not the 4K. They have done a 4K of this, but I want to talk about the Blu-ray release for Creepshow, because I believe, I could be wrong here. Actually, I think Nightbreed was like their first hardbox, but this is back when they were doing hardbox for their releases, and they did one for Creepshow, and deservedly so. Like, Creepshow deserves that hardbox treatment. But I wish they did this stuff more. Like, they did it with the Halloween films. They did it with Elvira. But it's like they just kind of abandoned this kind of stuff. And it's like, why would you abandon this when the collector market seems to be moving more towards those like premium box sets and packaging and all that stuff? Like, that's what we want, and you're moving away from it. Like, embrace this stuff, go back to it. I know it's more expensive, but like, you could charge a little bit more. People would buy it, and I would appreciate it if some of these releases that you put out, like Killer Clowns, should have got like a box set release. Like, I know I got a Steelbook, but it should have got a box set release. But back when they did Creepshow back in, I think, 2018, 2019, this may have been the first Scream Factory I pre-ordered from their website. This may have been the first one, because I just love Creepshow. Such a fantastic film. But the artwork on this is freaking great. It just like covers all these segments in here. You got the Father's Day segment. You got the, To Tide You Over, I think is what it's called. The Stephen King one where he's got moss growing all over him. I don't know all the names. The one with Adrienne Barbeau, the monster right there. And then you got the actual like skull from the beginning of the film right there in the background, the Grim Reaper. So just such great artwork. Like, I think it's top tier artwork for Scream Factory. It's up there, maybe top 5. But the special features on this release, and this is where they were introduced, yeah, they put them on the 4K as well. And I'll say this up front, guys, the 4K looks better. Obviously, it's 4K, but this Blu-ray had a 4K scan, and at the time, it was magnificent. It looked so freaking good, so spectacular on Blu-ray, that the 4K was an upgrade, but it wasn't a like drastic upgrade. Like, it wasn't an upgrade like The Burning was, or Night of the Comet was, or Night of the Demon was. It wasn't an upgrade like that. It was just a good upgrade. Like, you can notice it, but you know, this is really great as well, and a really cool box set. And they did not do this again when they did the 4K, which I don't know why. Again, Scream Factory, why are you moving away from premier collectible packaging is beyond me. You had a nice booklet on the inside, and you just don't get this kind of stuff. Like, when I do the 5 best and the 5 worst of like Second Sight and Arrow Video and Vinegar Syndrome, like, you're going to be seeing all kinds of incredible box sets and great packaging and stuff. And that's going to play a much bigger factor when I do those labels. But with Scream Factory, you just don't get that kind of stuff too often, and it kind of sucks. So with Creepshow, we got to celebrate it. And this is definitely one of their best release. I love this release. I would never give this up. Never give this up. Even though I had the 4K, I thought about getting the 4K Steelbook as well. I will never give up this box set release, this Blu-ray release of Creepshow. It's absolutely fantastic. Now let's get into the 5 worst. Again, not saying that these are the worst like releases of all time or anything. These are just ones that kind of disappointed me, and I honestly just don't think they're worth it. So The Funhouse, this is a Tobe Hooper film, and this was an upgrade to 4K. I didn't find the 4K was a particularly good quality, and I just didn't think the movie was all that good. So, you know, there's some good features here. Most of them are ported over. Or no, it says there's new interviews. It says there's new interviews. So this one might have been a Night of the Demons situation where they had some new interviews here. So new interviews with actors Miles Chaplin and Wayne Doba, audio commentary, and then you got a lot of the past features as well. So that's cool. They have some. Look, if you like this movie, this might be worth it to you. But for me, I was just very disappointed with the movie. Very disappointed with the transfer. I didn't think it was that good. So this one goes in the 5 worst for me. The Funhouse, directed by Tobe Hooper. We also got Funeral Home. This one came out earlier this year. Sorry guys, sometimes I can't talk and I stutter and I have to say my words over and over again. Anyway, Funeral Home, got this one earlier this year, and this was just boring. This was just straight up boring. Such a slog to get through. I think it took me 2 nights to get through it, because I fell asleep on the first night, and then I finally got through it the next night. But just a boring ass movie. It's on Blu-ray. It looked like crap. Now, I know this was an upgrade from like VHS or something, and it's a Canadian film, and I think it was kind of lost on home video for a long time. So very cool that they did this, that they put this out. I'm not saying it's not cool they did it, but I wish I didn't buy it, because I think I spent like $30 on this and it was not worth it. Now, you did have some new features here, but the features just honestly, from what I remember, weren't that great, and I just didn't like this movie, and I didn't think it looked really good on Blu-ray either. So that's one of the 5 worst for me. Of course, guys, if you know me and you know the channel, I did an entire video on this release when it came out. I was excited to watch it because it has Bruce Campbell in it, and it's directed by the same guy that did Phantasm movies, but Bubba Hotep, like, it's got to go in my 5 worst. I did not like this movie at all. Now, I understand there's a fan base for this movie. A lot of people like this movie. I may watch it again at some point. That's why I keep it in the collection, because I think I went into this in the wrong frame of mind. I was expecting more like Evil Dead, and just more fun. And this movie to me was just a guy laying around in a hospital for like an hour and 15 minutes. And then in the end, he gets up and fights like a demon mummy. And it's so anticlimactic, and it's not even very cool when he actually does the fight at the end. So I get it. It's character-based. It's character-driven. I think Bruce Campbell is good in it. But maybe I just went into this with the wrong mindset. Like, I was thinking it was going to be like an Evil Dead movie with Egyptian mummies and stuff, and Bruce Campbell like fighting them off with a shotgun and things like that. That's not what the movie is. Like, he's an Elvis impersonator that got switched with the actual Elvis. So it's a very weird, like, backstory. And he's laying in a hospital bed, getting his balls played with by the nurse for like an hour and 15 minutes. And then the movie has like a final conflict with the demon mummy thing. And then it's just over. So I just didn't care for the movie that much. Now there are, I don't think there's anything new here because this was an upgrade from a Blu-ray that they previously did. So no new special features here. There is a new 2022 4K scan of the original negative, which I found to be okay. Like, I just didn't think it was particularly a good looking 4K. So all those negatives taken into account, just the fact that this has become such a thing for the channel. People know I just don't like Bubba Hotep, because after I watched this, I was pissed, and I made an entire video about it. I was like, I'm never blind buying again or anything, which of course I have since, so I went back on that. But Bubba Hotep, not good to me. I don't like it. I understand if you do. Maybe I need to rewatch it someday, but Bubba Hotep has to go in my 5 worst from Scream Factory. I love this movie, but this release pissed me off so bad, so it's got to be here. Evil Dead 2013. First off, it is kind of cool that this is one of the only 4Ks I've ever done that doesn't have an actual banner, like that's actually incorporated into the artwork. That is cool that this is one of the only releases that has that. But I hated this release because, well, first off, I love the movie, but the actual 4K transfer I found to be incredibly lackluster, and there was nothing new on this release. They had the unrated cut and they had the theatrical cut on the same disc on 4K, but there was nothing new in terms of special features. All the special features here were from the previous Blu-ray release, which I already had. And this is why I don't like Scream Factory sometimes and how they announce stuff. When they do their announcements, they won't announce their special features straight up. Like, so you can't like dig into like what these releases have, like when they're announced, like you can with Arrow Video and Vinegar Syndrome. You have to wait like weeks sometimes to find out what the special features are for these releases. And by that time, in a lot of cases, like I just see the movie and I'm like, oh, that's a new to Scream Factory. That'll have special features. I just hit the pre-order button and then I forget about it. So they announced the special features and I don't think I was really paying attention. And when I got this, I expected it to have special features. So when I found that it didn't, I was just pissed. I was like, why would you not have new special features for this movie? It's a brand new to Scream Factory release. Like, I don't get why they didn't do special features. It's a collector's edition. That's how they're promoting it. But you had nothing new. Like, there's no features at all. So I think this is a shit release. Great movie, but it's a shit release. And I think if you have the Blu-ray, you're fine. I don't even think you need to upgrade this one. But I just think this is such a lazy, lackluster release. This is a perfect example of why people shit on Scream Factory all the time. A perfect example. So I think it's a shitty release. The movie doesn't even look that good on 4K. The special features are just non-existent. It does have the unrated cut. It does have the theatrical cut. And they're both on 4K. But I just can't forgive it for anything else. And it's one of the only Scream Factory releases, guys. One of the only that only includes the 4K. There's no Blu-ray in this one. And usually like that's a standard for Scream Factory. Blu-ray, 4K. And this is like one of the only ones that only includes the 4K. So This one, to me, like even worse than Bubba Hotep, I would probably put this at the very bottom of the barrel when it comes to Scream Factor releases for me, just in terms of quality of release. And I pre-ordered this from the Scream Factor website. Cost me like $35, or I think it honestly cost me $40, because I think it was like a $35 release, and then I had to pay like $6 for shipping. And it was just not worth it. So I hate this release. I think it's one of the worst I've ever done for sure. And lastly, guys, let's talk about some Chucky. Let's talk about Bride of Chucky. I like Bride of Chucky. I don't love Bride of Chucky, but this is a crap release for me because they didn't add any new special features. All the features on here are from the DVD, and I thought the 4K was good. It was a good 4K, but I just found it to be a little inexcusable that they did not do any new special features. Like, this is the one that people would have wanted, like, new features for, like Jennifer Tilly. You got, what's his name? Don Mancini. Like, why didn't they come back and talk about this? I don't get it. Like, Don Mancini did special features for, like, all the other Chucky movies. He at least did special features for the first 3. Why would he not talk about this one? Does he not like this one? Did he think that Seed was better because he directed it? Does he see this as a stain on the franchise? I don't get why nobody came back to talk about this, but there is no new special features on this release, and it was the only Child's Play Chucky 4K that did not have special features. So I just think that's kind of shitty. So I'm going to lump this one in to the 5 worst that Scream Factor's ever done. Again, I liked the movie, and I thought the 4K looked good. Didn't look great, but it looked good. But I think the lack of special features definitely pushes this one to the bottom of the Scream Factor releases. But that's the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. You don't have to agree. That's what's good, about opinions and everybody's thoughts and opinions on movies and physical media. We can all have different ones, and that's okay. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments section below. Also, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video. Follow me on all my social media accounts. Those links are down below in the description. Hit the bell notifications for all future videos, and we'll see you next time.